Woo! The hard part is done. Disney planning is over. But yet there are still 5 things that parents mess up all of the time, including myself. Stay tuned to find out what they are. What's up, everybody? It's Nick from Who Dat Travel. Now we're doing another Disney edition today. If you like these types of videos, please give it a huge thumbs up. And what really helps me out is if you subscribe to the channel. If you do the bell notification, that'll let you know when I make new content. Now, as I said, we're going to do some mistakes that parents make for Disney. Now, what are some of the mistakes that you've made? And what are the things that you've done to remedy them? Please comment below. I'd love to find out. In my travels, I've had trips ruined any number of ways. I've got hit by a hurricane. I've got sick in the middle of them. I mean, there are just tons of things that can ruin trips. But here are 5 things that in a Disney vacation, you can make sure don't happen to you. So here we go. I will admit freely, I am a new parent. So there are tons of things that I don't think about right off the bat. And hydration was one of those. Now, luckily, we went to Disney at a pretty cool time in December, so I really didn't have to think about it too much. But the more I thought about me having to drink more, the more I realized that he needed it too. Now, what my doctor and what my reading has said is in a hot condition, your little one needs to drink 50% more than usual. So in other words, if they normally have 20 ounces of milk or formula, they're going to want to be doing 30 ounces. And remember, under 6 months old, infants shouldn't be drinking water, and babies over 6 months old can only have modest amount. So really make sure that they are dressed appropriately, make sure they got light things on them, make sure that you can have a heat-friendly baby carrier. If they're in a stroller, bring one of those clip-on fans. I've got ours, I'll link it in the description below. It's a fantastic thing to just have some more air blowing on them to keep them cool. This next tip is for those of you with a little bit older children. Use a stroller. I know, you're sitting here going, I don't need to use a stroller. My kid hasn't used a stroller in years. We're just gonna go. It's not a problem. Well, wait a minute. I'm gonna pose you this question back. Can your child walk 10 plus miles a day for multiple days for the length of your trip and not have a problem? I know adults that can't do that. Heck, if I could get pushed around in a stroller, I'd love to. I tried. My wife said no. Really, for the extra, we'll call it hassle, it's really going to give your child a spot to be able to nap. It's going to be able to give them a rest. And it's also going to be able to give you a spot to put all of your stuff. Really, it does make sense to have those older kids in a stroller. All right. For my next tip, I'm going to do something. This is difficult. I'm going to admit something to all of my viewers out there. I am a Disney addict. There, I've said it. But being a Disney addict also means that I have a list of things that I absolutely want to and need to do every time I walk through those magical gates. However, I have a child now. So one of my major needs is to listen to him and to do what he wants to do. After all, this vacation isn't just for me, it's for my little guy as well. Now, if you've been following along, I have a 6-month-old. I'm sure you're sitting there going, he doesn't have any favorite things to do. Oh, but he does. I know that he absolutely loves the tiki room. He wants to go. He loves the tiki room. He loves Figment. And so we make sure that we go on those rides because he doesn't have a voice for himself at this point. But your kids that are older, make sure that they get to do what they want to do. After all, after having my little man, my happiness is really watching him see everything around him at Disney. And it has made my Disney trips 1,000 times better. My next tip is unbelievably important, especially for kids. Don't forgo naps. Don't try to push through. It's not worth it. I realize Disney is expensive and you want to get every dollar out of every moment that you're there. But if you don't let your child nap and they decide to have that inevitable meltdown at like 2 to 3 o'clock when everybody's kid seems to be melting down, it's not worth it. You won't have fun with your child just losing it. So go back to the hotel if you need to. Go to the car even. Start it up, put the air conditioning on, let them sleep in there for a bit. Or, if you've listened to my other tips, use that stroller. Walk around and just have them sleep there if they can. But in all, make sure that they take the naps. The last mistake for this list is expecting that your child can make it all the way from rope drop to the goodnight kiss. That's an extremely long day. You're talking 12 plus hours of running around a park. That's tiring for anyone. So my advice is if your kid's an early bird, great. Get up, go to rope drop, do all of those things that you want to do and get them off your list before anybody else gets into the park. That's usually when the lines are pretty short. But if your kid's a night owl and doesn't like going to sleep early and likes to sleep in late, well, take advantage of that. Usually after the last bout of fireworks, the park kind of empties out. So that gives you a little bit of time to be able to ride the rides that you really want to. And remember, if you're in line when the park closes, you're able to ride that ride. So you can ride some of the biggest rides, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Flight of Passage. And as long as you're in that line, by the time the park closes, they let you ride it. So those are my tips to getting around having to go absolutely all day at the park. So those are my 5 biggest mistakes that parents make with their kids at Disney. What did you think? Did I miss any? If I did, put them in the comments below. And if you liked this video, please, again, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you real soon.